So here we go. Welcome to yet another live interview show of Become a Fearless Father. And today I have the pleasure to have someone on that is not a dad. Why would you do that, Klass? Well, the idea is simple, man. I love anybody with energy, and I want to interview anybody with energy. Why? Because it transmits the message the best way. And second, fearless father must be a dadpreneur, and be a dadpreneur means you're just an entrepreneur, and to be an entrepreneur, who do you learn from? Other amazing entrepreneurs, such as Paul Hazer. So before we start asking right away about his expertise, and that is bot messenger. So why are messenger bots so important or, beneficial for dadpreneurs, or actually anybody, right?
So when it comes to messenger bots, there's loads of things where there's benefits, and that the biggest thing really, you got higher click-through rates, higher engagement rates, higher open rates. So if you can do the same amount of work and get double the amount of people to see your message, then it makes total logical sense to do that. And I was talking the other day as well about everyone needs a Julie, right? So Julie's a 24/7 sales receptionist who literally she works for you for free. She never charges anything, and she never asks for any holiday pay. She never annoys the rest of the staff. She always works to your brand standards, and she does that every single day for you, 24/7. And then she passes you on to Steve, the sales guy, who is just the same, and he never steals your coffee, and he never annoys anyone either, and never asks for a pay rise. And basically, that's what bots are like. So it's basically having a receptionist and a sales guy working for you 24/7 for free.
Nice. We like that.
Yeah.
So we'll dive more into that when, along this interview. I got tons of questions in regards to that. Especially what I was talking about earlier in the live that you saw as well. It's like, you get that voice inside your head saying, ooh, I can't do that. But we'll go into that a little bit later. Man, before we start, now people know exactly like what we're going to be talking about during this interview and how amazing this is going to be and how beneficial this is going to be for them. But before that, man, share with us your background story. Who's Paul and how did you get into this messenger bot, etc.?
So in short, I kind of went through the last couple of years. I was like dabbling in messenger bots a little bit, and like I did them for a couple of restaurants, did them for a car dealership, for a dog salon. So like it's not like they don't work across the board. I'm just doing bits and pieces and stuff like that. And I started off using it for my singing business and just kind of learning how to do it without being spammy and stuff like that. And then it got like when we had an e-commerce brand last year, basically that was like the toughest year of our lives. So we were selling bridesmaids dresses, and basically at that point we were growing and growing and growing. So it went like 2,000, 6,000, 11,000, 16,000 month on month, and it was just like, wow, this is amazing. And then we had a 90-day return policy that was too lax, and then it suddenly all went back to bite us. So literally, like the postman was coming every morning, and every time, when he comes up, he pulls up, you hear the van pull up, and you hear that little slidey door open, and they open the slide door, and you're like, oh, is that for us? Oh God! And then you know how to get the scanner out, and he goes beep, and I knew every time it beeped that was another £300 coming back, roughly like £200 to £300. So if I had it go beep, £300, beep, £600, beep, £900, and I was like, oh my God. And this was what it was like every day. So I think I actually created a fear. Some people have fear of spiders. Some people have fear of dogs. I had a fear of the mailman coming to the door. So in the space of 2 months, we had £24,000 come back in returns because we were basing our return ratio on that month's sales, not on the month when it actually when they actually bought. So basically, we actually had like a 30% return ratio, which is not uncommon for e-commerce, to be honest, on clothing especially. But we thought we had 10%. So then, it makes things very difficult because you've got to find that money from somewhere, and we just tried as hard as possible to keep afloat. And then it got to, I think, about November, and we hit a breaking point and went, look, this is not what we want to be doing. We did some more numbers as well because we started selling a different dress. And that dress was like a higher price point and everything like that. We had a decent margin on it, you think, but when you actually add in everything, it worked out for us to take home £3,000 a month. How much do you think we had to do in sales in a month to take home 3,000 in profit?
Like the 24,000, no? At least
90,000.
Wow. Yeah.
Every month. And then bear in mind the amount of customer service that comes with that and everything. So it was just, it got ridiculous and was like, we can't do this. So I did one of the simplest things that I think I've ever done. And I've done this a few times actually in business. When you hit a crossroad, I've always kind of done this exercise, and I've done this with other people as well, is you basically put a line down the middle, and it says what I'm good at the top and what I'm not good at the bottom. And then on the left, you say what I don't enjoy. And then on the right, you say what I enjoy. And then I did this and my wife did this as well. We both did it for ourselves. We wrote down absolutely everything that we've ever done in business. So whether that be from the admin to building bots to doing Facebook ads, doing customer service, all of it, wrote it all down. And then what we did is looked at what was at the top of what I enjoy and what I'm good at. And messenger bots was right up there at the top, because I was like, I had no problem getting sales. That wasn't the issue at all. The problem was doing the numbers and scaling something that wasn't quite right at the time. So we sorted that part out, and I was like, well, I want to do something I'm passionate about, because I was passionate about growth, but I wasn't passionate about bridesmaids dresses. Most men, I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, then that's cool. You might have some fearless fathers that are into bridesmaids dresses and stuff, but whatever floats your boat. But for me, it wasn't something that I was that interested in and passionate about. And I realised, like, if you're going to put all that effort in, you might as well do something you're passionate about. So I went all in on messenger bots in January. Like I said, I've been doing it for about 2.5 years, but I went, right, this is my sole focus, nothing else. After that, just kind of scaled up each month, and then scaled like 500% in March, and then scaled with more than doubled that again in April. So it's kind of, it just keeps ballooning as, and I think the key to that success has been giving value. Just giving value and giving and giving and giving, and doing as many Facebook Lives as possible, and just building a community and a culture, and then people recommend you left, right, and centre. Yeah,
exactly. Well, that's how we got in contact.
Yeah, exactly. So you joined my group. So how did you find out about my group?
I think it was Galen Ferguson that mentioned you, because I saw her talking about bot messengers. And I was always thinking about bot messengers because I want to do it for my other business. Like, I got two businesses. I got a Muay Thai online training business as well. That's in Spanish. And that's what I'm most interested in at first, to build bots for that, because we got 17,000 followers on the Facebook page, which is nice. But always had, as we mentioned before, that I can't do this thing, right? So I almost paid somebody to do it, and then even that scared me. So man, we're going to be talking about that, but I can't wait for seeing your show again, and we'll share the link to some of your stuff, to your group, etc., with all the people later on, so you can find you, etc. But the biggest thing that is holding me back before we dive into more of bot messengers is the copywriting. And because I saw some of your messenger bots, and I was like, you're immediately engaged, right? Even though you know it's not a person, you're still like, okay, yeah, yeah. You're funny, you're witty, it's engaging. You hit the spot, and there comes again. I can't do this, but before we get to that, I can't do this. Let's go to the copywriting. How important is it for somebody that's gonna decide I'm gonna build a messenger bot to be a good copywriter?
So I think what happens with Messenger is the first thing is people treat it like email, and it's not email. You know, that's where a big issue comes from. Is everyone's like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to do this real long format. I'm going to tell you my whole life story in one message, and you're like, it's a conversational platform. You wouldn't. So the way I always think about it is, how would I speak to someone on Messenger normally? You know, so so for example, I'm playing badminton later today, and I was like, I go like, hi mate, did you want to play badminton on Thursday? You know, I wouldn't go, hi mate, I started off my career playing badminton in 1964, and then would you like to know more about, well, and then just go, book your badminton court now. You know, that's what people do, and they go, I'm going to put a call to action in straight away and just get them to go and buy it straight away. And you're like, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. And then people go, oh yeah, messaging didn't work for me. So there's three things when it comes to copy. And I think this is something that I'm noticing more, that, you know, it's weird how people have got the copywriting so off with Messenger. And I teach it over and over again, and I still see, because I'm subscribed to so many bots, because I've like built things out for people, and then I see all their subscriber messages that they're sending out, and I'm included in that. And then they've got like this big long form of text, and I was like, what are you doing? No, that's not what we taught or anything. So there's a 3-step process that I use, and I call it SES. And the first bit is copy. So the copy, the first question needs to be a no-brainer question. If you ask a no-brainer question, what you get a no-brainer answer. Yeah, so if you ask an irresistible question, then people are going to give you the answer that you want, the irresistible answer. So if I say, do you want to know how to get your biggest desire without the pain that they're trying to avoid? And they go, yes, then great. And then you just go, you have a button that says, yes, I do. And it goes, great. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that in this ebook or in this Facebook Live or webinar or whatever. So if you're, it's kind of like simple. Imagine it like a landing page, but you get rid of all the stuff below the headline. All you're selling is the headline and the curiosity of the headline. So if you can write good headlines, you can build good bots. And I think that's a key part. So the first part is the copy. The second part is using emoji bullets. Okay, so and what I mean by that is, you know, kind of like if you're doing a Word document or whatever, you have like bullet points going down. So instead of having like normal bullet points, I use emojis to kind of like amplify and really show the message in a fun and engaging way. So like if it goes, would you like to save money? And then I'll have a little dollar emoji. And then if it's something that's kind of quite shocking, then I'll use like the shocked emoji face. Or and then if it's a without, it'll be kind of like a really big smiley grin of kind of like, oh look, yeah, you can do this without having to do this. Or, you know, you can even use things like the angry face and stuff like that occasionally. So what that does though is every single like sentence needs to be broken up by a paragraph and then put an emoji bullet in there as well. And then you have a different level of emoji bullets depending on what audience you're speaking to. So if you're in the online marketing world, then, you know, you're going to tend to speak a little bit more fun and witty and stuff like that. But like, so I built a bot out recently for an accountant, and they didn't want that kind of stuff because they said, well, it's not me. I don't want people to come along to a meeting with me and then expect me to be like really witty and fun because I'm not that person. And I was like, that's great. So what we did instead is use like, if you go on the emojis on the symbols section, there's like little diamonds and little squares and stuff. So we use that to break up the text instead and use like color coded stuff depending on what it was. So step number one is C, which is, like I say, the copy, making sure it's irresistible questions, irresistible answers. Step 2 is emoji bullets, and step 3 is short. Keep it simple. You know, the amount of people that are like, I'm going to tell you everything. You tell them in bite-sized chunks. So, you know, if we were, imagine you were on a call with me, and let's say I was trying to sell you my coaching. I wouldn't say, right, this is what you're going to get. I'm going to give you this and 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 this. And then I'm going to tell you about this and this and this. I'd go, by the way, Klass, are you interested? I'd be like, so what's your problem? And you tell me what your problem is. And I go, okay. So, and then I guide you to the correct solution for that problem. You know, you might go, well, I'm struggling getting leads. And you go, okay, well, if you're struggling getting leads, so what's the struggle with getting leads? Is it they're too expensive? Is it you don't know how to get them? And then we start asking the questions and guiding them through the process. And then when it gets to the end of the process in Messenger, instead of you just doing a one-size-fit-all, we're actually doing more of a, okay, well, you've told me this is your exact problem. And it's almost like being a doctor. So doctors don't sell to you, do they? You know, your doctor doesn't come in and go, I've got this great value deal for you today. I'm going to give you these injections and I'm going to put this on top and this on top. And then you're going to feel no pain. They go, okay, so tell me about your problem. What's your problem? And then at the end, they go, right, this is what you need. And you go, okay, doctor. Because they're the authority. So what you do, you create yourself as the authority, diagnose the problem, and then give them the prescription.
Exactly. I like that. You got to have a good doctor, though.
Yeah. Not one of those. And I think that's a good analogy as well. I think the way some people are using Messenger at the moment is a little bit like a backstreet doctor. Okay. You know, like the little trench coat as well. Like, hey, you want some?
All right, I got it.
As opposed to just kind of like sitting there listening, taking it on board, empathizing with the person, and then giving them a direct solution depending on what they've told you. That's so much stronger.
Yeah, I absolutely understand. Yeah, I keep thinking that when I say doctor, I keep thinking of how the doctor is here in Spain, and they just ask you what is wrong with this, and then they just tell you go get an aspirin. I mean, and it doesn't matter my toe, my arm, or whatever. It's just aspirin and ibuprofen. Get that cocktail, and then come back to me in a week if it still hurts. And
I'm allergic to ibuprofen as well, so they probably still go, oh, go and get an ibuprofen for your ibuprofen allergy. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. All right, but that's a different story, so let's go not too deep in that. But so as I mentioned, now you just mentioned something really important, right? You mentioned your 3 steps, and it looks very solid. I took notes of it, and I'm going to try that as soon as possible. So still, as I mentioned before, us as humans, right? We have that annoying voice in our head that immediately, when they listen to you, is like, yeah, but I can't do that, right? And I'm sure you get a lot of comments like that as well. It's like, oh yeah, look, Paul, it sounds absolutely fantastic what you're doing. I can't do this. Let's start off with the question, what's your response to someone that just says to you, look, I can't do this?
So the first thing is, you only have to take, you've ever heard the Martin Luther King quote, you don't have to see the whole staircase, you only have to take the first step.
Of course.
You know, so a lot of people are saying, I can't do this, and they've never even logged into ManyChat. You know, so you're like, well, how do you know you can't do it? You haven't tried. So until you try something, you don't even know if you can do it or not. So I had someone the other day, he saw, so I do something called Bill Bot Friday every Friday. So which you've seen. And I built, basically, for anyone who doesn't know, I built out a bot totally free, and we ad-lib it. I just literally say about 10 minutes before the call, right, what's your goal? And then we work backwards from there and make them a bot, which is really cool. But someone saw one of the ones that I did for a dentist, and he commented on it. It was like, could I have this template for free? And I said to him, no. I said, I will give it you if you go into ManyChat, build it out yourself first, show me the best version that you can do yourself, and then I will give you my version for free. And he was like, okay, that's fair enough. I was like, because I said, if I just give you that template, you will learn nothing. You know, so a lot of the people that I work with don't have the time to do it anyway, so they use a specialist because these are people in the growth phase, or even beyond the growth phase, where they're just kind of like, you know, like people learning 6 and 7 figures. So when you're working with those kind of people, they tend to just go, well, I don't need to learn another skill, you do it. But then you've got the people, like there's quite a lot of people in my group who are just starting out or a little bit further along as well, where they kind of, I want to learn it, but I'm not quite sure how. So I say the first, there was an, what's his name? There's basically, I was listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast, and he was talking about Rubin, what's his name, is a songwriter. And basically what he basically worked with some of the biggest artists in the world, like Jay-Z, Lady Gaga, and all that kind of stuff. And when they got writer's block, he said, all I want you to do is go home and write one lyric, one word. That's it. Or write one chord, just one chord. And then instead of them, because what we do, we overanalyze everything and go, well, what if that doesn't work? What if that doesn't work? What if that doesn't work? You're like, well, you haven't tried any of it, so you've got no idea whether it's going to work or not. So what I'd say is literally just log into ManyChat, click that button that says Growth Tools, just start and just see what comes. You know, and the first thing you make, it's probably going to be rubbish. But the first time, you know, it's kind of like if you're a professional chef, the first cake that you probably ever made when you were like 3 years old or whatever, probably wasn't the best cake in the world. It probably tasted a bit stodgy and stuff like that. But 20 years down the line, you might be a Michelin star chef. You know, don't think you need to make gourmet food straight out the bat. You just need to make something that is a starting point and then go from there. That's what I'd say, really.
I like that. I like that a lot. It's very powerful what you mentioned, and I think this is, well, we haven't finished yet, but I'm going to pronounce this already as the biggest golden nugget we've shared in this interview. But we haven't finished yet, so let's see if we can top this. What I've noticed in your bots that I really enjoy is GIFs, right? So if somebody presses something, you just put in a GIF. Is that like something also that you recommend people doing, or does it, like I wrote this down, be you, right? In my case, be me. Don't try to be like, I shouldn't be you, right? I should be me when I do the message bot, as you mentioned with the accountant. If he's being like witty and then people get actually in contact with him and they're like, wow, really, you know, dry and calm and poised and not witty at all. I wasn't expecting that, because you're trying to attract your perfect clients, right? That's the aim. All right, cool. So I understand this. So in that case, man, what else? So we talked about copywriting. What else are some of the things that someone should focus on to create an incredible bot message?
Having the right offer. So if you've got a rubbish offer, it doesn't matter how. And this is the same whether you're building bots, whether you're sending out emails, whether you're doing landing pages. If your offer is rubbish, no one wants it. You know? So people, you know, you hear about the hook story offer. I go backwards. So I start with the offer. Because if the offer isn't right, if it isn't what people want, then you can even have a great hook, but people are just going to be disappointed. So you could be like, you know, just thinking like the hook way on. Let's say your hook was like, you know, those kind of clickbait ones, like this man with no arms and no legs just climbed Kilimanjaro. Wow, great hook. But then if the offer was like, get a pencil with his name on it, it's probably not going to sell that many of them. But if it was like, spend a weekend with him, learning from him, and also we're going to add in like your accommodation, we're going to add in your flights, you're going to come away with knowing how to climb Kilimanjaro in the quickest way possible. You see what I mean? So then you start to value stack the things that people want, And once you do that, it just makes everything a lot easier to actually get people in. So we did a giveaway for a non-profit, and we did 121,000 with $150 in ad spend. And that was literally because the first thing, we had an irresistible offer. So and I can kind of talk as well, if you want, about like how I create an irresistible offer, if that'd help.
That was exactly going to be my next question. Like, can you use your bot messenger to help you create your irresistible offer, or is it a different kind of strategy?
So there's a couple of things. So the first thing is I actually created an irresistible offer creator that's available for my paid course at the moment. That's in beta test at the moment. So basically it asks you the questions and then it spits out your irresistible offer at the end, which is really cool. But in the simplest form, I use, again, another 3-step process, and it's called MUD. So you need a MUD offer. Okay, so the first step of a MUD offer is massive value. So a lot of the time, people don't offer something that's big enough value. They kind of go, well, I can't give them that. I can't give them that. So the best way to do that is literally get a big piece of paper or a whiteboard or whatever you want, or just scribble it on your shower or whatever you want, and write down every single thing that you could offer. You know, so you just write it all down and go, right, what is everything from the normal to the crazy and absurd, like, oh, well, what if we could do, I don't know, camel riding in the Sahara Desert and I'll teach them marketing at the same time? Or, you know, what if we could have a VIP dinner at the Shard in London and that kind of stuff, you know, just kind of really go out there. And then the next part of it is your unique solution. So that's the U in there. So you need to look at everything that you can offer and go, well, what out of that is unique? What can I offer that no one else can offer, or very little amount of people can offer? And it's not always about reinventing the wheel, but it's about repositioning yourself. You know, whether that be, so for example, like I say with the non-profit, we were like, what can we give them that's unique? And so we arranged that we could have some VIP backstage passes for them to meet some of the speakers. Now, bear in mind, some of these speakers are very high profile, and it's very hard to get that contact with them. So, I mean, then when you go, what value can I put on that? You can put whatever you want on it, really. I mean, we valued that at $1,000, because if you were actually to pay to meet that person, it would probably cost significantly more than $1,000 anyway. So we thought that was very reasonable to say it was worth that much. And then, so when you've got a unique solution out there, and I talk about those things as well, like if you look at my business, it'll be like, well, what's my unique solution? Maybe the way I can craft irresistible offers around messenger bots, or the way I do copy for messenger bots to make it convert better. You know, that's my unique solution that I can create for myself that no one else is offering. Or, you know, I'm thinking about doing an event soon as well. So if I'm doing an event, then I can go, right, what can I offer in that event that other people are not offering? So can we have it so you have a 4-day event, and then you come away from it and you're going to have like 4 or 5 bots built that you can use in your business straight away and start generating leads, and know all the ways to do that. Now, is there a lot of people doing those kind of small events? There's not really. So when you look at a unique solution, just think outside the box a little bit about what you could offer. And then the third part is D, which is digital assets. So a lot of people, you don't realize in your own business how many tools and things that you use in your own business that you can actually utilize and give to other people. So, you know, it could be things like, so I use a spreadsheet to do my profit allocations every Monday. And it means that it always keeps my finances on track, because after last year, never doing that again. So I wanted to make sure everything was, you know, a lot better. So that's one thing that I can give away. And then on top of that, I can go, right, well, what else have I got? Well, I've got loads of bots that I've created. I could give away the templates. They're digital assets. You know, if you could have, if you're an agency, you could say, well, I can give away my contract templates, or I can give away my email templates that I've got. And just take the stuff that you've got, template it, and then include that as part of the value. So that's like the base layer that gives you the base layer for your irresistible offer. And then what you do from that is you look at whatever your new opportunity is. So let's say, you know, your new opportunity is around, you know, fearless fathers and helping dadpreneurs kind of take that transition into full entrepreneurship. That's a new opportunity. It's not their fault that they haven't done it before. It's because they haven't had the opportunity as a dad to be able to do it. So you're going to show them a different way. So there's usually an objection or a limiting belief around why that won't work for them because of that vehicle. So when you look at the massive value and everything that you've written down, you go, right, what part in that massive value and unique solution actually matches up with that would crush that objection straight away? You know, so if you can find it and you go, well, because I'm going to give you these 12 weeks of coaching that's going to show you exactly how I transitioned and how you can do the same. And you go straight away, crush that objection. You're not going to have to worry about that anymore. And then you can also take your guarantee part and do the same with that and go, so if it doesn't work for you, give your money back because I know it works. You know, and then when you look at the second part, you look at their internal belief. And they're like, so why inside do they feel like they can't do it? Well, maybe they feel like they'll be letting down the partner, or maybe they feel like they'll be letting down the kids or whatever if they're focusing more time on the self. So then you show them a way, a part of your offer where instead of you go, well, look, I can show you how to do this without it really taking up any extra time, where you can actually do it at the same time as being a dad. And then they suddenly go, oh, wow, okay, so let's crush that internal belief. But I can show you how you can actually spend more time with your wife and your kids by actually moving over to be a dadpreneur. And then you've got the external belief, and it's the outside forces. Yeah, well, that's great. I can do that, but I don't know how to coach someone, or I don't know how to drive traffic to my website or whatever. And that's their external belief. So you go, well, it's all right because I'm going to show you the exact traffic system that I've used to generate free traffic like 365 days a year to the site. So you see what we've done now. We've crafted an irresistible offer around massive value. You've given something that's unique. You've added in digital tools and digital assets, and then you've crushed all other objections, and then they've got no reason not to buy. That's the process.
Nice. I was speechless there for a second. Still trying to wrap my hand around it. You're giving so much information. It's absolutely fantastic, man, Paul. I'm so happy I have you on. So let me ask you, because this is all that you shared so far is like that's part of your group coaching at the moment, or what kind of thing have you developed? And is this exactly the way that you developed it? And how can people join, etc.? Let's start off a little bit with that as well. How do you?
Okay, so I have a few parts of my value ladder. So people who are literally just starting out and will just want to learn some more. I've got my free community, which is bot hackers, and you can search bot hackers on Facebook. That soon, when 28 days is up, which I think is going to be like the 5th of May or something like that, then it's going to be changing to bot believers, because I just feel that resonates more with the community. Because so the reason we had the name bot hackers is because I do everything like this. I put a poll in the group, so I let the community decide the direction, because they know more than I do about what they want. So I basically said, what name do you want? And I put a load of options out there, and they went for bot hackers because it was like, oh, it's cool, it's underground. But what I've realized is a bot hacker is someone, what do you envisage? Someone working through the night, working on bots, and like with a hood up and an energy drink and everything like that. Now, the people that are in my group are not quite at that stage. The people in the paid group are further down the line and doing more bots and stuff. But the people who are in the group are more bot believers. They understand the power of bots and want to learn how to utilize that. So they believe in the power of it. So that's why we're changing the name to Bot Believers. So that's the first stage. You've got the free group, which is going to be Bot Believers. It's currently Bot Hackers. Then we've also got I've got a group coaching program, which the actual group part of it is coming to an end soon. So it'll all be in a members area. But it teaches basically all the steps from building your first lead magnet to crafting an irresistible offer, to retargeting strategies as well, to how to bring people back into your bot, to how to segment your audience to send it to the right people, how to get your copyright and your messaging right, how to create viral giveaways, all that kind of stuff, and all like little hacks and stuff as well of how to there's one thing that we did with our e-commerce business where we got an extra 200 people in our group within like 2 hours by sending out one post. And it cost us nothing in ads. We just used our subscriber list, created an irresistible offer, and guided people to our group. And I talk about that as well as part of that. And then there's also the higher level, which people can work with me one-on-one. And then also I have a higher ticket program where if anyone has got a auto webinar, then I take that, we get rid of the landing page. It's no longer needed. And all you need is a messenger bot, and it actually pulls through all the times. It automatically integrates the whole process through Messenger, and it pretty much, so one recently we doubled the opt-in rate of it. So it went from 40% opt-in rate to 80%.
Nice.
Went from show up rate from 65% to 82% show up rate.
That's amazing.
Which is huge. And then the follow-up as well, we also then take your emails and then add that and put that in a follow-up system in Messenger as well. And then the click-through rates on that are literally like quadruple what they are on the emails. So we were like getting people, 10% of people who were getting the message were going through to the offer page.
That's amazing. Those are good high numbers. Got me convinced. But I was convinced. I'm biased. I was convinced already. If not, you wouldn't be on this show. So I'm enjoying this, man. I appreciate it. So let me ask you then, if somebody in the end decides like, okay, yeah, I see, like I'm a bot believer. However, and I feel I can do this. However, I feel like I don't have the time, right? I'm focused. I'm trying to keep my focus on working on the business and not in the business. What should somebody look for? If we know a lot about Fiverr, I know you also help build complete bots for others. If someone goes out and looks for somebody like you, right, that knows what he's doing, etc., what questions should you ask? What should you focus on to make sure that you get the right person to help you build an amazing bot?
So I'm a big fan of recommendations. So you know, if you're gonna, I'd say it's better to get personal recommendations than it is to get recommendations from a big group. So I think what happens, for example, like the ClickFunnels group, you know, a lot of people know about the ClickFunnels group. It's massive. It's like 200,000 members. Yep. It's kind of a lot of the time a case of the blind leading the blind to an extent. So some people, you know, you've got, you know, when you ask a question and then everyone's like, oh yeah, you should do this, you should do this. You're like, how much money have you made? And they're like, none. So people end up going around in circles. So if you can get a personal recommendation, so if you know someone someone who knows a guy, you know a guy who knows a guy, that's the best way to do it. Or if you're seeing the same name coming up over and over again. So to be fair, with the ClickFunnels group, like if someone says, is he a chatbot specialist? There'll be like 6 or 7 comments and my mind comes up because I give value first and I work in that circle. So things that people to look out for is, are they going out there and giving value and actually teaching this stuff? And are they getting results themselves? You know, are they coming recommended? Have you been through one of the bots? Is it cool? Do you like the way it flows and stuff like that? And do you like the person? You know, if you don't like someone, don't work with them.
Mm.
Because like, for me, it's about having that energy and everything, and also managing the expectations. So I say to people, look, if I'm going to build you a bot, when it gets to the end, you're probably going to look at some of the verbiage in it and go, I want that changing, which is fine because I'm writing it in my voice essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to change it up to write it in their voice. So that's why when I do Build My Bot Friday, I go, so do you use hey? Do you use hi, hello, welcome? You know, what kind of formality do you go with? So they're the kind of things to look out for: results, recommendations, and do you like them? Because if you don't work with them.
Exactly. So how important, because that's a trap with Fiverr or things like that, when you go into those and you leave like, hey, I'm looking for like somebody that can build my bots for me. It's like you get so many differences in price, right?
Mm-hmm.
How important is that voice that goes inside your head saying, hey, that's only $20. I should go with that one, right? I'm sure you hired people on Fiverr as well. What was your strategy in that regards?
So yeah, I used to. I'm quite lucky as well that my wife is a designer. So she's always done a lot of my graphic design for me at very, very low cost. But you know, we negotiate with different things. But yeah, generally, you know, if I'm getting something off Fiverr, which I don't very often now, I think what I find is people who are starting out, Fiverr's a great resource. But if you want someone that you want to build a long-term relationship with, and someone that you're not, and so being a wedding, when I was I'm still doing a little bit of wedding singing now as well, but being a wedding singer, people were not paying for me to sing. They're paying for me, like, because they trust me, they trust my systems, my processes, they trust that I'm reliable. So for example, like if you go to Fiverr, you don't know what you're getting. So it's literally like a raffle. Sometimes you go in and you go, wow, that was really good. And then other times you go, oh my God, what the hell have they done, and stuff like that. And it's, like I say, it's a trust thing as well. So people pay me a lot more money because I've got the authority and the credibility. And that's the big difference. You know, like, why does someone pay someone like Russell Brunson $1 million to come into his business? Are the other people out there that can build funnels as well as him, if not better, and create the whole process and the offer? Probably is it people that are better, but because he's built that authority and credibility, he's worth more because it gives you confidence. That's what you're paying for, is essentially confidence that it's going to work. Exactly. And as you're growing your business, you have less time for those mistakes. To actually go, oh, is it going to be right? Is it not going to be right? You just need to go. So I had someone the other day, she paid me to do quite a simple bot. So it was like a white labeled one. And she went, I wouldn't pay you any less than that because you're worth it. And it didn't take me very long, really. But that wasn't the point. You know, she probably could have gone to India or whatever, or Indonesia, but she never does. She always comes to me because of it.
Exactly. Great. That was a terrific double message, as in regards to, you know, make sure as an entrepreneur to build your credibility so you can ask for more money. And second, make sure that, you know, I'm trying to think of how to say that in English, but, you know, spending less money might just be having to spend more money in the end, because, you know, you buy something cheap, you get something cheap.
Yeah, they always say buy cheap, buy twice.
There you go. Thank you. See, that's the advantage of talking to someone who actually has English as a native language.
You're doing pretty well.
I appreciate that. That's all right. I mean, I can start in Dutch, but that's not going to help anybody. So
it certainly wouldn't help me, and I'm not building no bots in Dutch either.
Exactly. Man, I got tons of questions for you still, but you mentioned something in the beginning, like I go live on Facebook every single day, and you know, I built that up. Tell us a little bit, man, because of course not everybody is for video. And hey, Jason. I didn't. You snuck in on me there.
And yes, I do use ManyChat.
Yep. So I'm just wondering, man, what made you decide to use Facebook Live? What are the advantages? And most of all, like, how patient do you have to be? That's one of the things that I have. Like, I don't get a lot of audience at first. It might be a time when I'm on. I don't know. How do you make sure that, little by little, you have the feeling there's more people there live with you, like Jason's with us now, and maybe more in Facebook, but I can't see those. But and leaving comments, right? Is that just something to be patient and disciplined, or is there like a different strategy? Or please share your experience.
So the first thing is last year with our e-commerce brand, we built a lot of those sales based on doing Facebook Lives. So we did a test last year because like it's always been a dream to do a TED Talk. So on TED Talks they always do these kind of challenges almost, or what a lot like I did this for 100 days or whatever. So we were like, what would it be like if we did a Facebook Live every day for a year? So we did a Facebook Live every single day last year. So either me or my wife did it every day. She did most of them towards the end of the process. But yeah, literally from the 2nd of January to the 2nd of January the next year, we did a Facebook Live every single day. So when we started off, there weren't a lot of people watching. So there's a few things that from doing the Facebook Live every day that you learn. First thing is certain subjects people don't care, right? Second is analyze. So look back over your Facebook Lives, see where the patterns are. So everything in life is patterns. So if you're looking back at your Facebook Lives and you go, well, every time I do Facebook Lives at midday, I get loads more viewers than the ones that I do at 8:00 at night. Or so, for example, for you, and I have the same issue. If I'm doing Facebook Lives this time of day, there's a lot less people watching because a lot of my following is in America.
Yeah,
and they're all being lazy, being asleep.
Yeah.
So the by doing that and actually analysing what time you're doing it at, that's the first thing. The second thing is when you look at it and go, well, what headlines are working? Are you actually building your Facebook Lives and using headlines? So the video, so I've got a fairly small group at the moment, but it's very, very engaged. You've seen that, haven't you? Like, there's so many comments in there all the time.
Yep.
So I've got 130 members and we've had over 1,100 engagements in the last 28 days.
Wow.
Which is, pretty damn good. Now, when you've got 130 odd members and then one of the videos has got 307 views, that it doesn't kind of make sense. But I had the right headline. So my headline was the 7-step system to how we did $121,000 in sales in 14 days with only $150 in ad spend that you can ethically steal. Would you watch that video?
I watched it.
You watched it, exactly. So it's got 56 comments, 27 likes, So it's not like out of the water stuff, but for the amount of people in the group, it's highly engaged. So people on average have watched this 4 times because there's 85 have seen it apparently according to this and 307 views. So it's like, yeah, people are watching it 4 times because the content is. So is your content good? Is your headlines good? And are you doing it at the right time of day? And just refining and refining. I do some Facebook Lives and I go, well, that was rubbish. Yeah. But you just do it. And then when you find something that works, so like I found a little bit that when I put numbers in a headline, it works better. So if I say about a result, how we got this result using this process, people love that case study style. So for example, like that the headline for this podcast, you could say like Paul reveals how the what's it? How we grew 500% in 4 months, creating themselves an authority in 4 months. You know, then people go, oh, how did you do that? I want to do that. So it's always about talking to them about their desire and having hero marketing, not ego marketing. Yeah. So, you know, talking about what they want, don't go, I've had a rubbish day today. I had cereals for breakfast today. Or this is what I think about this. It's more about, this is how you can do this. This is how you can do that, you know? So I'll go like how you can build your bot for free, how you can get your first subscribers for free, how you can segment your list in under a minute, how you can get the right message to the right person. Or I've even had ones where like how you can get a reception, how you can get someone to work for you for free 24/7. You know, people go, oh, curious, what is it? Yeah. So I use a lot of how-tos because they seem to work quite well. There's quite a lot of questions coming up. Good morning. Use ManyChat as well every day. A lot. We do it weekly. I'm in Seattle, 4:40 a.m. Oh wow, committed to the cause, Jason. Says, what is your favorite growth tool in ManyChat? We use JSON. So I tend to use a messenger ref URL a lot. And if for anyone who's not familiar with ManyChat, then basically you've got to think. So a JSON one is like a coded one almost. So you know, if you go into Ads Manager and it says send to Messenger, and there's like this little bit of JavaScript code. A lot of people are familiar with JavaScript, just doesn't understand what it means. To be honest, I'm not a coder. That might surprise people, but like I've got a guy that I go to if I've got a coding problem, and then he goes and sends me the code. And he sent me one today, and I went, I don't know what to do with it. How much will it be for you to just fix it for me? Because I'm not a coder. I don't pretend to be, but I understand flows and integrations, and that's the important bit. So JSON is one part, which is all kind of coded. You've got Messenger ref URL, which is essentially like a normal landing page link. So instead of taking someone to a landing page, you're taking them to Messenger straight away. And then you've got the comments growth tool as well, which is a really cool one, where when people comment on your post, then it automatically sends them a message in Messenger, which can be great for giveaways. So this is how we helped do the 121,000. So we said to people, if you want to get an extra 10 entries into the giveaway, go on the original post and tag your friends. And then they tag their friends on the original post. And then the friends comment and went, oh, what's this? And then they get a message. Now, that's a little bit edgy on the terms of service now as well. Facebook's clamping down on that side of it a little bit. So we're looking at refining that process a little bit more as well. But, you know, it's a fantastic way of creating viral loops. So I tend to use a Messenger ref URL quite a lot because I think it's the most natural way of people are used to clicking on links, aren't they, in Facebook now? People are not used to clicking the send to Messenger button as much. And I find a lot of the time the send to Messenger button as well, it says clicked, but then not opted in, which is really frustrating. So I tend to use Messenger ref URL and I actually seem to get a better opt-in rate. So personally, for me, that's what I tend to use more so.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I went through that one as well that you just mentioned, like get 10 points extra, etc. So absolutely perfect. Man, we are. I was hitting the hour, but we're over the hour by now. So I really appreciate all this. I think this is the most I've ever written, taking notes. So that's awesome. Or that might just be me. I need to become a better note taker.
Like I say though, you know, the most important thing is, so, you know, I don't come on here to sell anything. I just come on here to give value to your audience as much as possible and give value to you. And when I was speaking to Anton yesterday actually as well, and he talked about a Zig Ziglar quote, which was if you make enough people get what they want, you'll get everything that you want.
Yeah. No, 100% true. Absolutely. So I appreciate that. So for all those dadpreneurs out there that are listening now or during the recording, as this will go to YouTube and Facebook again and be chopped up in pieces, go on my podcast and everywhere else I can put it. How can they stay in contact with you? How can they learn more from you? How can they ask you more questions? How can they laugh with you even more? Because I like your sense of humor. Share that with us.
So the best way to connect with me is if you join the Bot Hacker Facebook group. That's where the community happened. You know, we're all bot believers in there as well, and I want you to kind of like join that mass movement that's being created right now. Mm-hmm. And also, if anyone joins that group and says that they came from the Fearless Father podcast, then I will also give them a free bot template as well to get them started.
Nice. There you go. See, we like gifts.
There you go. Yeah. You've got to give gifts. Just noticed as well another comment that Jason said it can't ask people to comment in Facebook ads anymore. So you can, but not directly. So you can't say comment below with, and your ads end up starting to get reached significantly lower, and then they'll be talked as clickbait. So what we did with the like non-profit one, and what I've done since as well, tell us why you should win, or tell us why you love this company, or tell us what's the most interesting. Tell us something. So you encourage longer comments instead of people just going win, 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 win. Mm-hmm. So if you actually encourage natural engagement, the great thing about that is then you reply to their comment. So what we found is tell us why you think you should win and come to Mops. And then they were telling us all about their stories of how Mops has helped them. So we had a crap load of testimonials. Bear in mind, 4,500 people commented on this giveaway. So we had like loads and loads of testimonials. And then we had the option to go in and reply to them and actually build conversation, because Facebook loves proper conversation now. Mm-hmm. It's looking for long form comments and back and forth. Mm-hmm. So one thing to note on your Facebook Lives as well is always go in and reply to the comments that are on there, but don't just go, thanks, that's great. Ask them a question. Mm-hmm. And start to get that flow and everything going. And you'll notice I do that a lot in my group as well. So mm-hmm. I'll go, oh yeah, well, what do you think about that? And stuff like that, if as much as I've got time to.
Exactly. With a question. All right, see? He's just showering us with gifts, even way over his time. And right before we close this off, I love it. I've truly enjoyed this, Paul. Thank you so much for being on. I know I had to cancel on you when we had this book the first time, unfortunately. Circumstances, right? It happens. Not too often, I hope. It's not a pleasant circumstance. So anyway, Paul, again, thank you so much for being on. Thanks for taking the time. I know you're incredibly busy. I can't wait for continuing to see you grow. It's inspiring. I mentioned that as well to Anton. I think you guys joined the same coach and learned from that person, as did I'm lost the name at the moment, but a couple of Gallon, exactly. So yeah. And I see you guys grow, and that's just inspiring and amazing. So keep doing that, and I wish you the best of luck with all your projects. And you will see me more often, because I'm definitely following what you're doing and learning from you. Everybody else, Jason, I appreciate you, man. This is I think the third live that you've been with us, so thank you for that. Every other father dappiner out there that is following us and learning from these great men, women, because tomorrow we're going to have a woman on the show. Actually, tomorrow we're going to have Jason on the show and getting an opportunity to, yeah, exactly. I'm going to be interviewing him, so that's very exciting as well. And Rachel Peterson is going to be on the show tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. So we're very much looking forward to that. I can't wait. I called her already the Fearless Mother. So I'm going to tell her that tomorrow. Hopefully she likes that new title that I gave her.
That's
so
awesome.
Anyway, thanks everybody. Have a thundering Thursday. Enjoy it. And we will see each other either tomorrow or the day after or very soon, because I am just like Paul over here going live every single day.
So thanks so much for having me as well, Klass. It's been an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure, man. All right. Take care, people. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.